Hi, thank you for being here. Back in my home environment and trying to come up with lots of little different kinds of tricks to make the space work for this kind of thing. It's a challenge too as a printmaker. I've been trying to do some more regular size printmaking, only learning to do it by hand instead of using a press. That's a whole different art form, printing with hand, pressing versus a printing press. And so I have to like get up a whole printmaking setup here, then break that down, clean it up, then put all this together. So it's a little bit of figuring things out still around here. And today I wanted to do a reading mainly about any kind of sadness in your heart you might be feeling, or any kind of loneliness. Part of the reason I wanted to do that is because I woke up really experiencing that. It's not unusual this time of year if you have any kind of sorrow or tough times in your past, which is most people at some point in their lives. They've been through some trials, right? And I woke up just really feeling that kind of acute loneliness that can sometimes strike. And I also shared a post from Plum Village, which is where Thich Nhat Hanh did the bulk of his work in his later life through meditation and mindfulness. And he had done a talk on loneliness that I thought was really meaningful, and that happened to show up in a timely way for me today because I was struggling with it. So I figured maybe there are other folks out there struggling with that feeling at this time of year. So I'm just going to do a basic Celtic cross, and I was hoping for this reading to kind of uplift for folks who might be feeling a little bit down and out, which is not unusual at all this time of year. So what might you have to look forward to? What's on the horizon? If you're feeling loneliness, if you are feeling loneliness, I really recommend that talk. I shared it earlier from my page, so it's on my feed. And it definitely rang true for me and was of comfort. And a lot of the idea is just coming home to yourself, because we live in an era where people are lonely among one another. We're lonely even though we're often surrounded by other people. And so it was timely, his work about coming home to yourself. And sometimes that kind of guidance can even feel even more loneliness inducing in the beginning, but if you listen to his words, they're very beautiful. So one thing I thought we might do a layout here on is, what are some things we have to look forward to? Where is the energy shifting? What are some things that we can kind of hang our I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for, like hang our hat on or something. Even if we might be feeling kind of lonely in the present moment. What's something we have to look forward to that might help us feel a little bit of joy again? And it's okay to feel, that was part of his talk as well. It's okay to accept the feeling. Part of our problem is that we don't accept those feelings. We just keep running from them, and that can even create further loneliness, but have to look forward to. Ooh. Lots of heart-centered cards here. Oh my gosh, beautiful. Well, this is a beautiful reading for someone. Thank you. Thank you for this layout. It's a really beautiful thing to see, and I'm happy to deliver the message of this layout. So in terms of asking what we have to look forward to, here's what's showing up. At the heart of the reading is the Wheel of Fortune, which is a knowing that things are about to change dramatically. And like the Wheel of Fate or the Wheel of Fortune is, when you're up, but you're going to come down again. There's never a permanence. There's impermanence, right? And so for me personally, this is reassuring to see. If I've been feeling kind of this pain in my heart center, it's reassuring to see that the Wheel of Fortune is going to keep turning, and I'm going to feel coming through this sadness maybe into some joy again, right? And crossing that is the Six of Cups, which is very much In this case, I'm reading this as like an inner child, a coming home to yourself and to your inner child. And he was speaking about that loneliness, coming home to yourself and comforting the lonely part of you, giving it love, giving it tender care. This can be like an inner child. I was a very lonely child. I was not an only child, but I was raised an only child. And, it was me and my imaginary friends, right? So I found a way through that desire to be amongst others when I was often alone. And I love that this Wheel of Fortune is changing for this inner child in you, right? So it's a good time to be tender with that childlike quality. It can also indicate that there's some exciting things coming with a past love, because the Six of Cups can also mean a past lover, like in the mundane world. So that's something to be aware of too, especially because in the unseen we have the Page of Cups. So this might be somebody who's feeling very loving towards you, wanting to express love to you or send you a love message. In any case, this could be interpreted as there's love coming towards you. There's love being sent your way, even if you don't necessarily see it. So this could just be that recognition or that understanding that I feel lonely. I know that I have people maybe that I can turn to, but you know, this is kind of that in the unseen, is that there is love coming towards you, even if you can't always feel it, right? Whether that's from spirit, the universe, others in your life, you know. What's coming from the higher realms is awakening. So here in the deck, the Judgment card is called Awakening. So it's a very pivotal time right now. This loneliness may be playing, or this sadness, or whatever experience you're feeling that you're needing something to hope for. This is saying that this has a deeper meaning, that going through this is a part of your evolution, right? Or your soul's growth. And coming home to yourself and facing your wounds and tending to your inner child, tending to those experiences. That's the message from the higher realms, which is wake up to this, wake up to yourself, to your existence, wake up to self-inquiry, right? A Judgment Day is also lends a lot of potency to this Wheel of Fortune. Like if things are changing, they're changing in a radical way. Like if they felt out of balance, they're going to come into rightness, right? That's a little bit like a message of the Justice card. But here's this Awakening card, like insight, understanding, acceptance, awakening, you know? Those are the message coming to me from that card. What's wrapping up in the recent past is the Magician card. So you may have been doing some exploration of the esoteric, or using prayer, or using the power available to you to make your dreams become a reality, to make the things happen for yourself that you want. I also talked in some of my last couple readings about the magician being sort of patterned in ancient times off of a Zoroastrian priest. And so they were very skilled in dream interpretation and in magic and esoteric practices. So that could be something related to that, right? Just to getting connected to that wise crone or wizard within you and making things happen for yourself. All of this is leading into a near future, which is the sun. So you've got some really beautiful things to look forward to. The sun is one of the most joyful cards, if not the most joyful card in the deck. And at least where I live in the Pacific Northwest, there's going to be a break in this crazy rain that we've been having starting tomorrow. There's going to be some sun coming through the clouds, and I, for one, can't wait. I struggle a little bit with this level of darkness and rain, like most people around here. Even if you like the rain, the kind of rain we're getting is a little much. So that's really beautiful. You have the sun to look forward to, and that's a very beautiful, joyful, positive energy, a real lifting and alleviation of this heavy feeling you might be feeling in your heart. Your approach to whatever you're going through right now has been the Two of Pentacles. And what I'm feeling coming off that card is that you've been kind of going back and forth about doing what you know is good for you to get you through a time like this versus resorting to maybe some old methods. And old methods don't have to be old and forever in the past, but there's like eating a nice piece of cake and then there's eating 3/4 of it, right? Like this, I have the sense coming off this card that you've been, as you struggle to kind of navigate whatever feeling that you're needing to hang on through, you've gone back and forth a little bit about how you best want to deal with it. And it's okay. We all do that. We're all human. None of us are perfect. None of us are gods. We're not going to always have the right Zen response to challenges in life. I didn't feel that way this morning. I felt pissed. I was even saying out loud, like, I don't fucking feel grateful. Yes, I have a roof over my head. Yes, I have all of these wonderful things. Yes, I'm making this beautiful print and I have the opportunity to be creative. For whatever reason, it just was not fucking connecting with me, though. I felt pissed off and abandoned, or I don't even know why. I just woke up feeling like that, right? So I indulged that for a while and it didn't feel very good, but it was me. I'm human. I get to have a, pissed off few hours sometimes. We have to exist in our body, right? And I sense that that's kind of what's happening for you, is going back and forth a little bit between, I'm going to really take responsibility and meditate versus I'm going to eat a bunch of sugar and then deal with the fallout later. Like, that's stuff we all do. I do it. Whether it's drinking, smoking pot, eating, whatever it is, we all have our vices. There's no judgment here. The energy coming to you from outside is somebody who's sort of willing to do work. So we'll pull some clarifiers, but the sense I'm getting is that this might have something about a relationship might be in play here for you, because the energy coming towards you is a Knight of Pentacles, which is somebody who's willing to do the work necessary. He doesn't always do it at the pace that other people would like him to do. The rest of the knights are really fast movers in the deck and he's not necessarily. He's a lot more methodical. He's a lot more discerning in his approaches. He's a slow and steady worker, but because of that, he's far more reliable. So this is the energy coming towards you, and I have a feeling this is somebody in your life. Your greatest hopes and fears are the World cards. So you're in luck because you're wanting to shift into a new era and out of this time of whatever you've been feeling. For me, like I said, it was aloneness. Even though I know I have people that love me, it was like a soul loneliness, right? This feeling that you've been trying to work through, you're wanting it to turn over into newness and joy again. Well, guess what? The Wheel of Fortune means that that's what's happening. And what's beyond in the near future is the sun. So this new world is coming, and you're going to have a far lighter and uplifted perspective soon. It's coming. It's already in process. Like the near future is often like some people watching this maybe are already even experiencing it. Like their weary time is already passing, and they're now in the sun energy, right? So this is close for you. And then the outcome is the Ten of Pentacles. So really joyful, abundant, secure feeling of safety and that you have everything you need. It's not even like the Nine of Pentacles is a card of you're good on your own. This is a card of you're good within your community. So it's that satisfied feeling of that missing pentacle that you've been experiencing, that missing piece where you're like, yeah, I've got everything, but something's missing. I just felt it this morning. This is a wonderful card to see if that's how you've been feeling, because this says this missing coin is going to come plug right in and you're going to be happy as a clam and content in the sun, in a new era, the Wheel of Fortune shifting things. Really lovely. So hang on. I hope this is bringing you like a helpful or hopeful feeling. That's really what I was wanting out of this layout, and I feel like it's delivering. So can we find out a little bit more? Like, what might be the sun and this Ten of Pentacles? Are there other people involved? What is it? What is it? And let's just see what comes out. Sometimes tarot likes to tell you, sometimes it doesn't. It just says, just trust that you're to have something amazing's happening. But what a radical change, even for me. I almost didn't do a reading today because I was in such a bad spot earlier. I was like, well, this is not good energy to try to do a reading and publish it. You want to be in a good energy if you're reading cards for people. And I am in a better energy just doing the reading. So that's another sort of little message about be willing to try to be creative, even if you're feeling bitter, because sometimes that's a healthy way to work through that bitterness or frustration or whatever. I worked on my print earlier and I was, you know, I wasn't super enjoying it, but it was a healthy way to address the frustration, you know, to do something creative that normally makes me feel good. And I do think it probably helped pull me out of it somewhat. So the Six of Pentacles, so this is a coming into more balance between you, the energy you're giving to others, and what you're receiving. It can be your resources, your time, your attention, your ideas, your advice, your support. This is a card of that coming into balance where you're getting as much in return as well. So you might have been feeling, part of this sad loneliness might have been feeling like, I'm trying to keep my own light. I'm trying to be positive. I'm trying to do positive things. Why am I still feeling alone? Or, you know, something like that. Well, this card says things are about to start feeling more in balance where you might be going to receive again. What else? You had to walk away from something, and that's what the sadness is about. You may have really hoped that something was going to go in a certain way, and it hasn't. And you had to walk away. And I think that's what's hovering over this in terms of that sadness that you're trying to work through, is that walking away grief that comes with walking away from something that you had a lot of hope for. The Queen of Pentacles is a card of things are starting, you are starting, by walking away, by making the hard decision you made to walk away from something. You may be wondering, is the walking away sadness ever going to alleviate? Like, I know I did what I had to do, but I'm also feeling still in an abandoned place maybe. Well, what's important to know is that things are going to come back into balance with the Six of Pentacles. You are attracting that Ten of Pentacles. This is you. You're the Queen of Pentacles. She's not somebody out there chasing dreams, chasing people, overworking. She's in a receptive state. And what I sense happening is that as this Wheel of Fortune energy continues to turn, you're going to shift into a receptive state where things are more in balance and you're going to be able to receive. It might be from this Knight of Pentacles here. Let's pull some cards on who he is. Who's this Knight? And this might help you know if this is you. But you might have, it might even be something like, is he ever going to show up? Or is this person or this thing ever going to come through? Because like I mentioned before, the Knight of Pentacles is a slow mover. He doesn't move to other people's pace. He moves at his own pace. So this doesn't have to be a person, although it often represents a person, a knight. It could be something else, like something you're waiting to come through on. But like a project, or I don't know, let's see, something you've been working on. Who's the knight here? What have you been attracting in? Ooh, this knight's gone through a tower. He's in a very wounded and battled stage right now. That might be why he's moving slowly, because he's in Nine of Wands energy, which is being very embattled. And he may have won the victory. Oftentimes that's the message, is that the Nine of Wands indicates you won, but you're very embattled and exhausted. You're a wounded warrior. You're very weary from battle. And this is a tower. So a tower is often an event that makes you feel really tossed about and kind of beat up by the universe or by fate or by life. Circumstances very much out of your control can often put you in this kind of energy. So that's the energy this knight is in. Hopefully that helps you know who this reading is for. This is not you. This is the energy coming towards you. And it's this knight who's very battle weary. And he's moving with a lot of fire, though, which is interesting in spite of being so weary. He's also got Ace of Wands energy, which is like pure motion to go forward. But maybe that's why he's in Knight of Pentacles energy, is because he is so tired that even though he's passionate and he knows what he's wanting and he's moving towards it, he's battle weary. He's been through a tower, so he's tired, but he's clear on his passion. And this indicates to me kind of a relationship, honestly. Because the outcome is the Ten of Pentacles, indicating that you've been in a solo mode and that you're now about to come into that completion where that missing pentacle comes in to fill everything out. The Nine of Pentacles is not negative, but it can be a card of feelings that's somewhat incomplete, or but it's a good energy to be in. Nine of Pentacles is like, I don't need anyone else. I generate my own success. I generate my own abundance. I generate my own ideas and creativity. That's a healthy place to be in. It's often when you're in that place that the Ten of Pentacles comes through. Because you're not overworking, you're not needy, you're not striving too hard. You're not chasing and overly ambitious, right? You're already solid in knowing what you have, which is a good place to be. And that's kind of how I felt this morning. Like, I have everything I need. I'm in a good place. But I just was not feeling it anyways. You know, it's like, yeah, but I still feel this negative way. So I was going to pull some clarifiers. What were they? Maybe just anything more you might want to reveal about this Ten of Pentacles. I don't think I'm going to necessarily do an oracle card. Maybe. Let's see. They're right here. Why not? Anything about the Ten of Pentacles that's useful to know? The King of Pentacles. So yeah, definitely this is a love connection, because look, the King and Queen of Pentacles. This doesn't have to be literal. It doesn't mean gendered identities necessarily. It just signifies your mate, your energetic mate. And it can literally mean this. You could be the queen and this is about your king. That's okay too. It's very beautiful regardless. The wheel in another deck in the Morgan Greer shows this king and queen on the very top of the wheel, and they're just living the high life, right? It's like the image of the high life, but what they're not seeing is the wheel's going to turn again. So enjoy this time that's coming of abundance where this King of Pentacles comes towards you. Maybe he's going to show up in a night energy, but he's your king. Enjoy it. Enjoy it because it's coming. It's showing up here. Oops, he's up here, but they're together. What else? Queen of Cups and the Eight of Wands. So communication and swiftness around this Ten of Pentacles. I'm not sure who the Queen is there. That could be a representation of you dropping into your heart center. Maybe that is now. While I'll get another, I'll pull some oracle messages here. Let's see if there's a message from the Knight of Pentacles right now. Because there's swiftness and possible communication with the Eight of Wands and this Ace of Wands. There's also a Page of Cups indicating communication about love. What's the message of this Knight of Pentacles here? What's the message of this Knight of Pentacles? He's embattled. He's been through a tower. But there's definite fire ignited in this Knight. I want to feel that way again. He wants to feel connected to you. That passion of the Ace of Wands is not an easy thing to let go of. He wants to feel it again. Any other messages from that Knight or the King? I wish I could share my good news with you. So something, that's the message maybe that's going to be coming through here at some point about this Eight of Wands. This is often swift communication coming through. This Knight of Pentacles coming towards you is like, for whatever reason, he doesn't feel he can share the good news yet, but this is all very positive. So it might be that there's still a reason for keeping a secret, or it could be a surprise. which wouldn't be shocking. I mean, this is the holiday time of year where people give each other surprise gifts. I've had our oracle card show up a ton lately about exchanging gifts. So that could be something. I wish I could share my good news with you. There's definitely a desire for communication and a completion of this cycle for both of you, not just for this other party, but for you too. But you had to walk away, so I have a feeling that you're not necessarily haven't been hopeful at this point. And I hope that this reading is, sometimes these readings can kind of feel like a dangling carrot, like, well, when's it going to show up? And I don't ever intend for that to happen. But what I'm saying is that this is really beautiful likelihood, and there's strong cards in favor of it happening. It's not a transient or weak reading. It's very powerful. The Magus, the Judgment Day, the Wheel of Fortune, the World card, right? These are the Sun card. That's a lot of major arcana. So to me, it indicates that there's not going to be something that you do that screws it up, or that they screw it up, or whatever. What's this about now with this Knight of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, the Queen? There's two queens here, so there might have been an obstacle in the past. Well, that might have been why you had to walk away. You know, triangles happen like that, a love triangle or something. Because that could represent like a third party. It's all very positive for you, regardless. Yeah, a leg up. Good times are on the horizon. What's this say here? This is a super happy card when it shows up, especially in winter. It's nice to see. Are you always insisting on doing everything yourself? Do you have little faith that help will come? That's why I was doing this reading. You've been in a place that you've kind of lost hope. The walking away that you had to do, the sorrow was still really present. And I'm picking up that as of this reading, you have been wondering, like, what is even going to happen? What is even for me, right? Or what? Do you have little faith that help will come? Convinced that the burden of the world is doomed to remain on your shoulders? Your beliefs about going it alone need to be discarded as they do not serve you at all. Let others help you. Yes, it will make you feel vulnerable to admit you need a helping hand, but to be vulnerable is good. For you have a lesson to learn. You must let someone else assist. You can't do life all by yourself. Once you shift your expectations, you'll be amazed by how quickly help arrives to give you a leg up. So it may be that a shift in your mindset is going to help some of this come into you. But I always want to be careful about that, because I think what a lot of people that talk about manifestation or card readers or woo people in general, and I'm part of that community. I'm not trying to talk shit about it. I'm a part of that. I believe in cards. I believe in crystals, But a lot of messaging can start happening through that, which I think is really kind of toxic messaging, is blaming you if you're in a dark place in life. Like, you're just not believing it enough, or you're not manifesting hard enough. Like, that stuff's all, in my opinion, bullshit, especially as a therapist. Like, that to me is called spiritual bypassing. If you try, and that's not a phrase I came up with, that's a real phrase in soul evolution. If you consider yourself to be on a spiritual path where you're trying to be, the healthiest version of yourself or your soul as you can be, the most joyful, the most sort of at peace, like, you can't skip the hard grief, the facing yourself, the facing your shadow, the facing your anger, all of that. Trying to pretend like that's not real is spiritual bypassing, and it ignores the physical body that we're in. So I really like to downvote that kind of message that comes out over and over again about how you just have to have faith and you have to stay in a high vibration and you have to feel positive all the time. That's like positivity police, and we're not designed that way. So please do not take this as that. But I do think that there are many times, then all of us can relate, where everything shifted once you had a different mindset, right? Like once you But that happens in its own time a lot of times. You can't force a moment like that because you have to go through the desert before you can get there, so to speak, right? So I know I'm kind of getting on a soapbox now, and I'll just try to let this reading be what it is, which is a very beautiful reading of a lot of positivity coming in about a relationship that you walked away. So either you walked away, and now because you walked away from an old relationship that wasn't good for you, now this beautiful one is coming in. But I also have a sense that this is not necessarily that for most people. This is going to be a reading about a relationship you've already been troubled about, you've already been trying to heal from. You've wondered if your healing is ever going to come. You wonder if the things that you hoped for are really that far out of reach, that you've really been in a worried place. Well, guess what? That's about to shift into some understanding, some passionate communication, good news. This person might have been taking a while, but they're coming through with this really beautiful news for you. And it's very loving. And for most of you, if not all of you, it's about something to do with love and a relationship with a king and queen, meaning energy poles, right? A couple in very healthy pentacles energy after a very difficult time. So thank you for being here. And it really is my honor. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Oh yeah, and I have my remote now. I don't have to go do the whole get up and turn it off thing anymore. Oh, except